A couple with neurasthenia moved in downstairs from my house. Even if I walked normally at home, they would complain. For this reason, my husband and I had to cooperate cautiously in an attempt to get along with our neighbors. But I was still too naive. Not long after, I was exposed on the internet due to the rumors spread by my neighbors. I became a noise dog in the eyes of netizens and was criticized by thousands of people. Things have come to this point and I don't want to endure it anymore. A middle-aged couple with kind faces moved in downstairs. We smiled and nodded to each other when we met in the elevator. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the hostess knocked on my door. "Hello, I'm from 601. It sounds like your house is a bit noisy. Please don't let your children run around at home." "I'm sorry." Big Wei was riding a horse with Shanshan, and he immediately put the child down and went to the door to apologize to the woman. The woman was kind and kept saying it was okay, it was inevitable for children, and that they just needed to be more careful in the future. After sending him away, Dawei and I stuck out our tongues, saying that someone was living downstairs now, so we had to be more careful. Dawei also touched Shanshan's head and asked, "Shanshan, did you hear me? You can't run around the house after 8 o'clock in the future." Shanshan answered loudly, "I know," in a crisp voice. Dawei and I have been married for 8 years. Our daughter Shanshan is in the senior class of kindergarten and goes to bed on time at 8:30 every day. After the child falls asleep, the entire small world of 701 is Dawei and I's personal space. After I cleaned up the house, I put on headphones and watched TV series. Dawei has been busy taking exams for professional qualifications recently and has been reading books at night. It is very tiring to stay up late. I found some recipes online and prepared to nourish Dawei's brain and blood. That night, the wall-breaking machine had just been working for 5 minutes when someone knocked on the door. It was the hostess of 601. She poked her head in and looked apologetic. I asked if there was any machine working at home. I subconsciously looked towards the kitchen. It was the wall-breaking machine. I was making medicinal food. Okay, the noise was a bit loud, but we didn't find it noisy at home. It actually disturbed the downstairs. It was also a bit like Wonder Woman. Her attitude was a bit humble. The noise was too loud and we couldn't rest. I couldn't help but look at the clock. It was 8:40 in the evening. It seemed that 601 also rested early. "I'm sorry. I'll turn it off right away, please," the woman said, but she didn't move. I ran back to the kitchen, and without bothering to figure out which was the stop button, I pulled out the plug directly. "It's okay now, right? Thank you for understanding." The woman left satisfied. It was impossible not to make up for Dawei, but my husband is my own. I moved the time for making medicinal food forward to dinner time, thinking that they should not rest so early. Unexpectedly, as soon as the wall-breaking machine was turned on within 3 minutes, the hostess of 601 came to knock on the door again. When she opened the door, she looked apologetic again. This time she didn't say that it affected their rest. After all, no one has to rest at 6 p.m. in the evening, but she said that the noise made her feel uneasy, and that we are young and can bear it. He and her husband are old and can't stand such loud noise. I didn't dare to look at him closely, but I knew his children were studying in colleges and other places, and he looked less than 50. According to the current middle-aged people's enthusiasm, he is not old at all. With the idea that neighbors are better than Jinbao, I don't make medicinal food at dinner time. After sufficient research and demonstration, my colleague Aunt Zhang found that there is a thing called a silent cover for wall-breaking machine. I immediately placed an order and declared to Dawei that when the silent cover arrived, he would be able to make up for his brain. Dawei amused me and said that it is not easy to make up for a brain and that his wife has taken a lot of trouble. As it turned out, my wife was not taking a lot of trouble. She was naive. Just as I put the cover on the wall-breaking machine, I just turned on the machine and was about to try the silent effect when the doorbell rang on time again. I was almost allergic to the doorbell and immediately unplugged the wall breaker. I still haven't figured out which one is the pause button, so unplugging it became the most convenient reaction. Dawei patted me and I went to open the door. I really didn't want to see the apologetic face of the hostess of room 601, but I could still hear her humble plea. "Why is there still a sound? I'm so sorry, it sounds very loud in my house." I couldn't listen to it anymore and closed the kitchen door. After a while, Dawei had 3 pairs of slippers in his hand, scratching his head awkwardly. It seems that the silent cover is useless. Besides, his family gave us 3 pairs of slippers, saying that the quality of our slippers is poor. There could be a problem. It was particularly noisy downstairs. Our slippers were fine. They were silent slippers with a solid feel. I grabbed the slippers and wanted to throw them out of the window, but suddenly I remembered that they were objects thrown from a high altitude. I withdrew my hand in disappointment and pulled back. I almost made a big mistake. I was monitored by the big data on my mobile phone. I just searched and found out how much he paid for the 3 pairs of slippers. The search result was 12 yuan a pair. I added a pair to offset all his expenses, but that was not important. What was important was that I was controlled by big data. All platforms started to push to me all kinds of noises and contradictions from upstairs and downstairs. They were all the innocent people who were tortured crazy by the indifference of the upstairs. Downstairs, many people downstairs said that the noises from upstairs would infinitely amplified. Even if the upstairs people think that the living noise is normal, it is really torturous to listen to downstairs, so is it really like this? Dawei wanted to exercise at night, and my heart tightened. Will the bed move? Will the downstairs hear it? Dawei laughed. My daughter is sleeping next door. When I go out for a walk, I don't consider the neighbors, but I have to consider my daughter. This is the truth, but the trip was ultimately trembling and not very enjoyable. After it ended, Dawei fell asleep, but I had no sleepiness at all. If the sound upstairs is really infinitely amplified, then why is there no sound in 801 upstairs from my house? 801 and my family moved in at the same year, and he has 2 children. It's a coincidence. Suddenly there was a thud upstairs, very light, followed by a sound of footsteps, also very light. As if he got up to go to the bathroom, it turned out not to be him. There was no noise at home. I didn't notice it before. 801 has dinner early enough. Does the hostess not have to go to work? Dawei was puzzled. How did you know? I pointed to the ceiling. You hear someone dragging the stool. Dawei listened carefully. It seems so. I didn't notice. Who hasn't made any noise at home? I didn't pay attention before. Many people complained on the internet, so I paid attention, and sure enough, the noise upstairs was quite loud. Dawei came over and solemnly held my shoulder, just like Ma Jingtao held Chandarong, and like He Shuhuan held Lu Yiping. Baby, we've lived here for 5 years. It has been fine. The noise upstairs is not loud. Don't think too much. This thing will appear more and more the more you look for it. You can't magnify it. I admit that what Dawei said makes sense, but I can't help it. The next day I bought silicone table and chair leg covers, covered all the dining tables and chairs in the house. You bought 2 sets. Dawei saw that there was still a bag that was not used. Dawei, you asked if you wanted to send the rest to 801. Dawei stopped me sternly and said that the children would have winter vacation soon, and the whole family should go out for a trip to relax. I love to make travel guides, and I cheered immediately, and threw the silicone pad out of my mind. Plans are not as fast as changes. We rushed to my parents' house on the eve of the Chinese New Year, and originally planned to spend the holiday with them. We set out for Shuexiang on the 3rd day of the Chinese New Year, but we didn't expect to encounter the epidemic. It would have been fine if we couldn't go to Shuexiang, but there was an infected person in my parents' community, and we sealed off the community. Dawei said that since you started working, you haven't spent enough time with your parents. This time we might as well make the best of it and treat it as a long vacation. The government's supply of materials is sufficient, and my mother has stockpiled a lot of New Year's dishes, so I am happy to be a hands-off boss. I eat and sleep every day, and when I don't eat or sleep, I stay on the sofa with Shanshan to watch TV. I watch whatever she watches. My mother has a rare opportunity to show her skills, and she is also very happy. She found the vertical wall-breaking machine at home, and made it for me and Dawei. Shanshan drinks soy milk, and I am afraid of premature maturity if I don't drink it. Listen to the wall-breaking machine. The rumbling sound of the machine made me feel moved. I said to Dawei, this is our wall-breaking machine. I have never heard a complete sound of it. Hey, don't think about the people and things 100 kilometers away. Dawei put his arm around my shoulders. Before he finished speaking, my cell phone rang. It was the property management of the community 100 kilometers away calling. It was really a case of talking about the devil. The property management is urging me to pay the fees during the Chinese New Year. It shouldn't be necessary. Dawei let go of me and motioned for me to answer the phone. From the other end of the phone, I heard the property manager's cordial greetings, wishing me a happy new year and a happy family. Before I could say thank you, the manager said that someone complained that your house was too noisy and affected the neighbor's rest. I was stunned and was about to speak when Dawei was already yelling at the phone. He shouted that there must be a mistake. Our whole family is out of town for the new year. The housekeeper also found it unbelievable. Are you sure there is no one at home? Are the whole family out of town? We are definitely sure. There are only 3 of us in our family. We are all at my mother-in-law's house. It's sealed off and we can't go back. I was moved and asked if it was a complaint from 601. The housekeeper was very professional. We have to keep the complainant confidential. Since you are not at home, I will confirm with the complainant. The more you try to hide it, the more obvious it is. I can almost conclude that it is 601. I have lived in this community for 5 years. I know the neighbors upstairs and downstairs. I usually say a few words when I meet in the elevator. I have never been complained by anyone. He hung up the phone. I was annoyed. Let him confirm it, or our house might be haunted. Until that evening, I didn't receive any calls from the property management. Before going to bed, I was proud that they couldn't blame us now. Maybe the sounds he usually heard were not made by our house at all. Dawei nodded and said, yes, yes. The next morning, I was awakened by the vibration of my cell phone. I answered the phone with sleepy eyes. Miss Chin, someone complained that there was a noise in your house all night. How is it possible? I sat up from the bed with a start. Shanshan was also awakened by me. She rubbed her eyes and looked at me in confusion. When the cell phone vibrated, Dawei woke up. He took the phone and yelled, let me tell you, this is impossible. Our whole family slept in the bed at my mother-in-law's house and was awakened by your phone. I was woken up by the words. I am more than 100 kilometers away from you now, but the housekeeper is still so calm. He said he went to the power distribution room and found that your electricity meter is indeed running, which is a sign of life. Somehow I felt a chill down my spine and I was in a trance. I was puzzled until he put on his clothes and suddenly slapped his thigh. Isn't this nonsense? Our refrigerator is on. How could the electricity meter not be running? I came to my senses too. I was so scared that I thought there was a ghost in the house. Now I am very excited. Please call the property management for you. I will go to the owner group to say Happy New Year to all the neighbors. I don't know which neighbor complained to the property management that my house is too noisy and affects his rest. I am here to I solemnly declare that our whole family is in our hometown. We don't know when the lockdown will be lifted during the epidemic. Currently, no one lives in our home. If any neighbor sees someone entering or leaving our home, please call the police and ask the complainant to find another source of noise and don't stare at our home. After Dawei made the call, the property management said they would go to verify it. I told him that they just need to see if the lights are on at night. It's really a lot of effort. It's really a lot of effort. A person with a kind face may not necessarily have a kind behavior. I have really experienced it. The owner group has responded. Who complained about 602? Is 702 wrong? Sometimes I hear noises upstairs, which may actually come from any nearby house. 501. Home, has the snail girl come in? I'm laughing. 501 usually communicates a lot and occasionally makes a few jokes. I just happened to pick up the connection. It's possible. So I'd like to trouble all dear neighbors to keep an eye on my home. If there is a light on at night, it's either the snail girl or the ghost. The neighbors joked about the snail girl and the ghost for a while. Only 601 didn't say anything. The couple were in the group, but they just didn't say anything. I thought the matter ended there. I was naive again. The property management called again in the afternoon, and this time the attitude was very embarrassed. Ms. Cheen, this is the case. We have also conveyed the actual situation of your home, but the complainant said that you are evading responsibility. They go to bed early, and it's unrealistic to squat at your home late at night. Whether the lights are on or not, what can we do? You call the police. Now the whole country is protesting. Let's not trouble the police. Ms. Cheen, you say, is this right? Then you should figure it out. It's not me who wants to trouble the police. It's you who keep making things difficult for us. How can we? Yes, of course we won't make things difficult for the owner. There is a solution to this problem. What solution? The other party asked to turn off the power for you and I got furious. What does this mean? Are we bullying people just because we are easy to talk to? The property management is cautious. Anyway, you are not at home, and turning off the power will not affect anything. Who said it won't affect? I have good beef eye meat, golden pillow durian meat, and airship seafood in my refrigerator. You have to compensate me if it breaks. The other party has already thought of this and said that if they cause damage to your home, they can compensate you. They just want to make sure that no one is living in your home. I am really convinced. I feel like I stepped on dog shit with my slippers. Dawei has already grabbed the phone and said, wake up, love it or not, just don't harass us, can you give us a quiet life? The property manager's attitude is as humble as 601. He hung up the phone with many thanks, and finally wished our family a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to his uncle. We have been locked up in my mother's house for a whole month and a half, and finally waited for the unblocking and rushed home. The first thing I did was to turn on the power and open the refrigerator. I burst into tears. The stench was overwhelming. Who could bear it? The double attack from smell and vision made me completely mentally collapsed. I ran to the bathroom crying, hugged the toilet and started vomiting. Dawei was relatively calm. He took a video of the unboxing as evidence and sent it to the property manager. The manager came soon. From his green face and his hesitation as he peeped at the door, I knew that he was also attacked by the video. After crying and vomiting, and being comforted by Dawei, I have recovered a little. I think I am half charged. Do you believe that no one has lived in my house for more than a month? The manager pinched his nose and said carefully that he believed it, but the complainant needed evidence. I don't have the habit of making things difficult for the property management. I have worked at the grassroots level in government agencies for many years and I know how difficult it is for frontline staff. Let's compensate as agreed. The things are all here. A rough estimate is that it is at least 2,000 yuan. Let's compensate it at 1,500 yuan. After I finished speaking, the manager immediately he looked embarrassed. This amount might be hard for the other party to accept. Dawei was so angry that he said, if you can't accept it, don't cut off the circuit breaker. Tell me honestly that a full refrigerator costs 1,500. Do I feel guilty? Go and tell 601 that I don't want this refrigerator anymore. It's disgusting. Let him pay for it together. Don't be angry. Let's talk it over. I'll go and coordinate with his family right away. Before he finished speaking, the housekeeper realized that he had said something wrong. This was tantamount to admitting that the person who complained was 601. I didn't say it was 601, you guessed it yourself, not me, right? The housekeeper fled. Dawei endured the nausea, just emptied the refrigerator for 601 taels. The parents-in-law came with something. Although it was broken, the refrigerator was fine. The hostess stepped on a puddle of yellow water in front of the refrigerator. He frowned. I held my forehead. The refrigerator was full of dirty water, emitting a foul smell. The standard in his heart seemed very low. The food was 1,500. The refrigerator was bought for 9,000, and it was used for 5 years, so it was 3,000. Just give me 4,500. I won't waste my words with him. The hostess's body trembled noticeably, and a familiar flattering smile appeared on her face again. Look, we live upstairs and downstairs. There's no need to make things so awkward. Your house is so well decorated, the conditions must be good too. My house is not the same but not good. Are you trying to play the victim? I quickly exchanged glances with Dawei, who interrupted him and said, this has nothing to do with the conditions. Let's talk about the matter. But the hostess turned a deaf ear to me and said, I have to pay the mortgage and my child's college education is very expensive. I can't afford such a large amount of money. After that, he stirred the rag and started to clean the refrigerator. Not to mention that Dawei and I were stunned. Even the housekeeper who came to mediate was a little confused. To be honest, I admire this woman. That refrigerator that was smelly and disgusting and none of us wanted to touch was cleaned by her. She even washed the seams of the floor tiles that were soaked in yellow water. While cleaning, she kept emphasizing how difficult her life was and asked us to understand. Her voice was timid and her attitude was humble. Dawei and I were soft-hearted, and the housekeeper also wanted to keep things quiet. Finally, he agreed to compensate 1,000 and let the matter be over. He transferred the money to me. He transferred 1,000 directly in front of me. The housekeeper breathed a sigh of relief and said a lot of polite words. You see, there is nothing that cannot be solved between neighbors. You need more communication and negotiation. The housekeeper was all smiles but still pinched his nose. The hostess walked to the door and just took a step out when she suddenly turned back. Your refrigerator is a bit loud. I felt a chill on my spine and had a bad premonition. I turned to look at Dawei. He was squatting and just plugging in the refrigerator. At this time, Dawei's face was flushed. I knew he must have wanted to chop off his nosy hand. The property manager's nerves, which had just relaxed, were tense again. He stared at me with wide eyes, fearing that the situation would escalate again. I smiled faintly. Really? I didn't hear it. I turned my head and looked into the house, muttering to myself. I felt that a lot of furniture had absorbed the smell. Can this still be used? Should I throw it away? The hostess of room 601 left in a flash. After all, the furniture in my house was not too cheap. Finally, the farce was over. The current situation is that the stench in the house is lingering, and the refrigerator is empty. It is impossible to live in it. There is no way they had no choice but to open all the windows and flee to their parents-in-law's house for refuge. After several days, the stench in the house finally dissipated. The family of 3 went to the supermarket and bought 2 full carts of food. Then they set out to return home. As soon as they got home, Shanshan wandered around the living room. It would be nice to put a piano here. Shanshan stared at the corner of the living room and got excited. She ran over to her baby and said, "My baby wants to learn piano. There is a piano boy among the neighbors of my parents-in-law's house. Every night, there is a pleasant piano practice sound." Shanshan is very envious. She holds up her little head and listens attentively every day. After a few days, she can hum the songs played by others. Learning piano is hard. "Baby, can you stick to it?" I asked. Shanshan answered firmly. Dawei happily lay on the ground with his 4 legs up in the air, and his father raised his hands and feet to support him. I also supported him. I wanted to learn piano since I was a child, but my family didn't have the conditions. Now we have the conditions, and the child's wish must be met. The teacher was found quickly. After 1 lesson, he praised Shanshan and said that she was patient, could sit still and had excellent musical sense. Dawei took me to the piano store to look at pianos. We should buy famous imported ones. If we don't have them, we can buy joint venture ones. That one is so cute. I laughed. So cute, isn't it? But when I walked to the door of the piano store and listened to the beautiful piano music flowing out, my heart skipped a beat and I stopped. If I practice the piano every day, 601 will go crazy. I didn't care at all. I laid down the sound insulation mat and didn't practice the piano after 8 o'clock. It's enough for me to do these 2 things. I can't let my baby suffer for 601. You are right. I held my head high and walked into the piano store. About half a month later, the piano was finally delivered. As luck would have it, when the workers were carrying the piano to the elevator, they were bumped into by the male owner of 601. He didn't say a word, but turned his head and stared at the piano. He stared at her with a look of horror. His wife would probably be even more horrified when she heard the bad news. I was secretly happy. The road to cultivating a great piano child was officially launched. The neighbors were very fresh. 501 asked if the one practicing the piano was from your family. 801 said that after all, the little girl could sit still, but the 2 naughty kids in my family couldn't sit still for a moment. The mother-in-law in 602 touched Shanshan's head and encouraged her to practice well. In the future, I would play world-famous music for her to cultivate her sentiments. What good neighbors! I burst into tears except for 601. When the mother-in-law encouraged Shanshan, the hostess of 601 was at the elevator entrance. Her face turned green. She twitched a few times but finally she held back and didn't say anything. She could hold it back for a while but she couldn't hold it back forever. At 7:30 in the evening, I was in the study with Shanshan practicing the piano. I heard a knock on the door outside. I actually breathed a sigh of relief. There had to be a fight, so it was better to fight early than late. Sure enough, 601 came again, but this time it was the man. The man was not as polite as his wife. He frowned and asked if it was your child who practiced the piano every day. I had expected his intention and blocked his words directly. First of all, we installed soundproof carpets. Secondly, we finished before 8 o'clock every day so as not to disturb the neighbors. Life, any other questions? The man's voice got louder. My family downstairs could hear it clearly. What's the use of your soundproof carpet? Noise harassment is justified, right? Dawei is also angry. Watch your words. Who is causing noise harassment? Go and sue if you have the guts. The court is going to sentence our child not to practice the piano. I will definitely respect the verdict. If you don't sue, you are not a human being. You are relying on the law to ignore this matter, right? The man's finger touched Dawei's nose. Seeing that Dawei was about to take action, I immediately pulled him back and pointed to room 601 upstairs. The man didn't understand and looked at me with a frown. Dong dong dong. The 2 monkeys in 801 were running happily, and the floor was banging. I was very calm. Did you hear that? My house is upstairs, and we have never raised any opinions. We live in a high-rise building, and the conditions are like this. Noise in life is inevitable, but as long as people don't make noise intentionally and it's within a reasonable time, there is no problem. The man was not convinced. Your home is your home and my home is my home. Everyone in your family is deaf, but not in mine. Dawei grabbed his chest angrily and said, "Say it again, don't think I dare not hit you. Everyone in your family is a princess with princess syndrome. If you have the guts, live in a cemetery. I guarantee that no one will bother you." The man's face turned red. He was small, but Dawei was often exercise. At this moment I grabbed his chest. His biceps were bulging, very intimidating. The man was scared and pushed Dawei away. "Just wait for me. I'll wait for you, you coward." Dawei yelled and went back to the house. Shanshan opened a crack in the study door and peeked out. Did I disturb the aunt downstairs? I took her little hand and sat back in front of the piano. Don't worry about them. Let's continue practicing. We will finish on time at 8 o'clock. 601 didn't come again. Maybe he was really scared. At around 10 o'clock, Dawei and I were about to go to bed when the doorbell rang. It couldn't be downstairs again. We were all in bed. What other sound was worth making a fuss about? I was puzzled. Dawei turned over and got out of bed and put on his clothes. This lunatic can't be reasonable. Speculation, they can imagine people in an empty house, not to mention we are still at home. Look through the peephole. If it is 601, don't open the door. Dawei went. A moment later I heard Dawei say, wife, there are police outside. No need to ask the police. 601 called. The man in 601 stood behind the police, obviously no longer scared. He felt that the police backed him up. Sorry, we received a call saying that your house is disturbing the neighbors. The police was a dark young man. He looked at Dawei and me. There was some confusion in his black and white eyes. This was the first time the police came to my house. It would be a lie to say I was not nervous, but I also know that the police will not mess around. It is just their job to go out. There will be no problem if we cooperate with them well. Hello, police officer. There are only 3 people in my family, and the child went to bed at 8:30. My husband and I read a book for a while and are about to go to bed. I don't know which behavior disturbed the neighbors. The police turned to look at 601. Man, you said there was a sound of skipping rope in his house. What time is it? It didn't stop all night. Just before you came, it kept making noises. It gave our whole family a headache. This is funny. We don't even have a rope at home and we still skip rope. Police officer, we never skip rope at home. I don't argue with 601. I only explain the situation to the police. The police are obviously helpless. First of all, David and I were caught in the bed at first glance. How could we have just been in skipping rope? And 601's empty words can't be used as evidence. He thought about it. In fact, the source of noise in such a high-rise building is difficult to determine. The noise heard at home may come from any nearby home. Otherwise, you are his home. The man insisted that evidence was needed. The police's voice also increased. The situation changed a little. The police did not help him. The man was stunned for a few seconds, and then he rushed to the kitchen. Listen, his refrigerator is so noisy my family suffers from it. Don't say that. David and I were shocked. Even the police were shocked. Are you sure you can hear the noise of this refrigerator at home? The police couldn't believe it, and walked to the side of the refrigerator and listened. Whose refrigerator is completely there is no sound. After all, it has a compressor. But to be honest, my refrigerator is really quiet. Not only can people downstairs not hear it, but it is also completely ignored in my house. The police looked incredulous after hearing it. This refrigerator is of good quality, and the noise is much quieter than mine. But the man insisted that you should not disbelieve it. The refrigerator makes a very loud sound. This kind of noise is called low frequency. When I hear it from my house, it sounds like a drill drilling my head. It is very painful. Dawei and I looked at each other and thought it was really creepy. Dawei quickly made up his mind. Comrade policeman, I am willing to go to his house to confirm it on the spot. If the sound of drilling the head can indeed be heard from 601, I will replace the refrigerator tomorrow. I never thought that the scene in 601's house would be like this. The decoration is the original simple decoration, and there are no electrical appliances. The air conditioner left by the previous owner is wrapped in cloth, and it is obvious that he does not plan to use it. The windows are sealed with 2 layers inside and outside. One layer is old, which the developer brings when handing over the house, and the other layer is new, which should be installed after his family moved in. Both layers of windows are closed tightly without a crack. The house is terribly quiet. The hostess sits on a half-new and half-old sofa, looking at us coldly. The police are here and you still dare to jump rope. You are simply breaking the law knowingly. He suddenly said in a stern voice, there has never been anyone jumping rope in my family, never before and never in the future. I flatly denied it. The hostess didn't believe me and was jumping just now. Do you think I'm deaf? The police frowned. I can prove this. I was just talking upstairs and said that the person was not jumping rope. Unexpectedly, as soon as the voice fell, there were 2 clear thumps and the sound of the rope hitting the ground. The hostess screamed and said no. After she finished speaking, she was stunned. The police tried to calm things down. You see, he is here, which means that the sound is not from 701. It's the middle of the night. I think you should go to bed early and don't always stare at these sounds. The hostess glared. The sound came from above her head. It was so obvious, how could it not be 701? There is a child in his house, it's a child jumping at home, it's a fart, my daughter had fallen asleep a long time ago. Dawei was furious. At home he had to consider Shanshan's feelings. Here, haha. He might be able to curse at anyone at any time. The police immediately stood in front of Dawei. Don't get excited, talk it over nicely. I was also afraid that Dawei would be impulsive. Such a trivial matter is not worth getting himself involved. So I winked at him. We are here to listen. To the sound of drilling the head, not our voice, don't worry about it, let them solve it themselves. The police also agreed. Yes, where is the low-frequency noise of drilling the head you are talking about? The hostess got up from the sofa and walked into the bedroom, only to hear her shouting in the bedroom. Here you can also feel this kind of pain. I followed him into the bedroom and found him clinging to the closet with his ear against the door. Come on, try it and see what kind of life we live. The police went to listen, and Dawei and I also went to listen. After listening, the man was silent and the woman cried. The young policeman said earnestly, try covering your ears with your hands. Do you feel the same buzzing sound? This is the sound of the human body, such as blood flow, muscle contraction, and usually the outside sounds are louder, so these sounds are covered up. Cover your ears and block out the outside sounds and he will come out. It's that simple. The male owner was skeptical and covered his ears with his hands. This sound was different from the one he heard on the door. It's different. Some people are not sensitive to low-frequency noise. You may be the kind of person who is not sensitive. He still insisted that what the hostess said was more absolute. Old pig, don't waste your time talking to them. I can see that the police have been bribed by them. David was so angry that he laughed and pointed at his head. I can see that you have a problem here. Why are you scolding people? The other party jumped again. The police had no patience to explain more and crossed to the middle. This is not the first time I have dealt with low-frequency noise disputes. I tell you clearly that this is an illusion caused by your neurasthenia, not low-frequency noise. 701 did not jump rope today. After dealing with it, the police and we left 601 together. Come. Dawei shook hands with the policeman and said, "You have worked hard." Just as he was about to say goodbye, the hostess of 601 rushed out, knelt down at my feet and burst into tears. "I have neurasthenia, there is nothing I can do. You upstairs are so noisy you can't feel it, but I can hear it. It's not my fault that I have neurasthenia. Please let me go." She cried so loudly and miserably that we were all stunned. Even the mother-in-law of 602 opened the door and came out to watch the fun. When she saw the hostess kneeling on the ground, she was so scared that she hurried to help her up. "Master's wife, what are you doing? Why did you call the police in the middle of the night?" The hostess cried and my head shook. "I can't live anymore. You are all different. How can I live with him?" I burst into tears again. The police advised me not to use force, because it would be a different matter. Let me go quickly, my clothes are about to be pulled off by him. I was so angry that 1,000 horses and 10 million MMPs were running in my heart. Dawei came up to help quickly, pushed the woman away and rescued me and my clothes. I was unwilling to give up and wanted to flee. I pointed at his nose and scolded him, asking us to sympathize with him. Who will sympathize with us? We are harassed by you all day long. You don't allow me to walk, practice the piano, or open the refrigerator. Do you have the ability to buy my house? If you can't, just bear with it. The hostess looked at me in astonishment and forgot to cry. She went back. I was at home. I slammed the door, slammed it really hard, shutting out the woman's crying and the mother-in-law's persuasion. Although I had a passionate outburst in the end, I might not even be considered a Pyrrhic victory. In fact, deep down I still felt that I had fled in panic. I thought that after the late-night call to the police from 601, the situation would be quiet for at least half a month. I was wrong. The police came again. This time 601 didn't follow me. The middle-aged policeman made routine inquiries and said that someone had called the police. The air conditioner outdoor unit at 701 was too loud. The police came again. The beautiful policewoman checked. My piano was soundproofed and the floor mat was very polite. She left angrily. The police came again. The middle-aged policeman said, "What a coincidence." He picked up the phone as soon as he started the night shift. "When the police came to your house, I said it was an honor. I almost recognized all the police officers in our station." We smiled helplessly at each other. The police said that we have to go out when we receive a call. "Thank you for your understanding. Because there are frequent police cars downstairs, the whole unit knows about it. Of course, there will be no open standing between our two families in the conflict. There are many private consolations, but it's of no use. Dawei and I have become thick-skinned. When the police come, we warmly welcome and see them off. When the police leave, we live our lives as usual." 601 couldn't help it. One day when I got home from get off work, I found a note on the door, which agreed to follow the following time schedule. It detailed the time for my family to get up and the time to go out. Walking around, what time can I practice the piano, from which month to which month I am allowed to use the refrigerator. Fuck it, I took a photo and tore up the note. At night, it was the peak time for the owners group to chat. I directly sent the photo to the general group of owners in the community, and tagged 601. "The note has been received. It will not be executed. You can continue to call the police or sue in court. I will fight to the end." The owner group was immediately in an uproar. The advantage of the general group is that many owners of other buildings are not like those in the same unit. They see each other every day. They just make trouble and don't consider interpersonal relationships. They are crazy. They are not even allowed to open the refrigerator. I have heard of this building. I have called the police many times. The police are about to install desks in their building. I heard it was neurasthenia. It makes sense to treat the disease. 601 remained silent. This is his family's usual reaction, not surprising, but his family will soon take more drastic actions. Dawei and I are ready to be sued. After I posted that ridiculous agreement in the group, 601 never called the police again. It is impossible for them to stop and hold back. I agree with Dawei's words 1,000 times and just wait for the challenge. I didn't expect that strange and wonderful ideas are always unexpected. I was in the office that day, filling out those forms that never get finished, and Aunt Zhang from the administration suddenly ran over to me. "Xiaoqin, who have you offended? There are banners at the door. Which community has not met the delivery standards again? It's coming for you. Your name is written on the banner." I stood up suddenly. As a government unit, there are often banners at the door. They are nothing more than demolition disputes and house disputes. I have had a lot of disputes and occasionally some emotional disputes, but I am a small clerk in an office and have a harmonious family life. Why are some people pulling banners against me? Let me see. I picked up my phone and just walked to the office door when my leader called Xiaoqin, saying that there was public opinion about you on the internet. My eyes went dark and I almost couldn't stand. What public opinion? Who else could it be? Before I even got to the leader's office, my WeChat account had been bombarded. Many people sent me links and screenshots. There was a post on the local forum that said Qin, an employee of a certain bureau, had extremely poor quality and manipulated his privileges to team up with the police and property management to oppress his neighbors. He could be called a bully in the community. I randomly scrolled through a few replies and they were all insults. If the people above are born with original sin, then no one in the system understands the truth either. When they heard that I was in the system, they insulted and ridiculed me in various ways. The hat of privilege was put on me. Damn it, the video of the banner at the door has also arrived. The content is similar to the one on the forum naming names. The couple-in-law were in tears, and they were almost kneeling at the door of my unit. I was so upset. How can a person confuse right and wrong like this? You have a nervous breakdown and the whole world should spoil you. You don't have the money to compensate me for the refrigerator, but you have the money to hire people to hang the banner. The huge anger made me sober. The leader asked about the situation with concern. If it was any other time, I would have cried out of grievance, but not today. I told the leader to call the police since they brought the unit. Then individuals and organizations should call the police together. The leader nodded in agreement, not to mention that 601 is unreasonable and stupid. Their biggest mistake is to drag the police into the water. At the same time I called the police. The post on the internet was hidden. This is definitely not done by me. I don't have the ability. And it is definitely not our leader. It was my fault. He had just dialed 110. It was the police who had monitored the online public opinion. The couple was quickly taken away by the police before I could come downstairs. Dawei and I were summoned from our units and rushed to the police station to deal with it. When we arrived at the police station, we found that the property manager had also come. The poor manager had a gloomy face and was about to cry. The whole incident was not difficult to reconstruct. The police took separate interrogation records for the police and retrieved the previous police station's call records. We already understood most of it. The couple tried to steal a chicken but lost the rice. The post was posted by the man, and the troublemakers holding the banner were hired by the man, so he was detained. When we came out of the police station, the hostess of 601 stood at the door and looked at us coldly. The kind face she had in the past was gone, and her eyes were full of hatred. For a moment, I even felt sorry for him. He was tortured by neurasthenia. It's abnormal. I know it's not easy for him, but there's no reason for me to bear his hardship. It's not easy for any adult. Gossip always spreads quickly, and the neighbors soon found out. First, 801 saw the post on the forum and immediately locked on to the target. Then, she discussed it with the mother-in-law of 602, and it became a secret known to the whole corridor. I was a little embarrassed. When I ran into the neighbors going up and down the stairs, I wanted to talk to them about it, but I couldn't open my mouth. 601, which has never interacted with neighbors, acted out of character. After the man returned home after detention, the couple told everyone that the noise in the building was all caused by 701, and that 701 had a machine that could make noise hidden at home. Well anyway, the evil center of the universe is in my house. To be honest, I was a little bit naughty. Although I was right in this matter, people put banners at the door of my unit, and it caused public opinion on the internet. The leader's words were also asking me to deal with it well, implying that it should not affect my work anymore. I wanted to move, and when I told Dawei, he lay on the ground with his 4 legs up in the air, expressing his agreement with both hands and feet. In the following days, Dawei and I rushed between various real estate projects. After trying the coffee and snacks in various sales offices, we finally signed the house sale contract. However, the house will not be delivered until next year, and we are not in a hurry. I bought myself a small house before marriage. Although the area is a bit small, there is no problem with the transition. On the night after signing the contract, I lay in Dawei's arms with a lot of emotions. Thank you 601, otherwise we will not be able to make up our minds to move to a larger flat. Dawei kissed me, and my wife will have to work hard to repay the monthly mortgage in the future. It's just a bag, and we will have to live a tight life for a few years. I would rather not buy a bag. I want to live a comfortable life. I giggled, and before the laughter ended, there was a loud rumbling noise, as if someone downstairs was using an electric drill to hit the floor. It was deafening, and even the bed began to shake. I sat up in pain. Whose house is renovating at this time? Are you crazy? Dawei picked up the phone. Is he forcing me to call the police? Before he finished speaking, Shanshan pushed the door open crying. Mom, I'm afraid I've forgotten Shanshan. I quickly carried Shanshan to the bed and held her in my arms, not afraid of whose electric drill this is, who has no quality. Dad will immediately pull this person out. The violent vibration continued with no sign of stopping. It felt like the floor was going to be drilled through. Dawei put on his clothes. I'll go find out which family it is. Renovating so late is simply courting death. But I saw that the screen of my mobile phone was always on, and people in the corridor group had already started cursing. Renovating at this time? Is he crazy? Is it the decoration? Doesn't seem like it. It keeps ringing. How can I sleep? Whose family has such poor quality? The male owner of 801 was straightforward. Gather in the corridor and look for this beast one by one. I will kill him today. The neighbors responded one after another. Dawei was also eager to try and do something big to get rid of harm for the people. Unexpectedly at this moment 601, who never spoke, popped up. It was 701, the building stabilizer in my house. It has hurt me for several months. It's not excessive for me to fight back. I'm very sorry if I hurt anyone by mistake. There was a series of question marks in the group. A minute later the loud noise was still the same. Everyone finally reacted. 601's apology was not worth a penny. This couple didn't care about accidental injuries at all. They even wanted to drag everyone to be buried with them. Are you sick in the brain? 801 scolded 601, and the reply was that 701 forced me to do it. As long as everyone lets 701 live in peace from now on, I will let everyone live in peace. I have to make a statement. You turn off that thing first and we will go downstairs to talk to you now. What a bullshit. 801 was still scolding Dawei and suddenly reacted. You stay at home to protect Shanshan. I'll go out to see the situation. I felt something was going to happen. I didn't dare let Dawei go alone, afraid that he would suffer, so I rushed out the door, but saw that 801's big brother had already rushed down with murderous intent, and didn't even take the elevator but rushed up the stairs. The mistress of 801 was chasing him. Don't be impulsive, talk to me and see me out. Shanshan was crying inside. The mistress of 801 said, Shanshan will go to my house first. You guys go down and stop him, but he couldn't stop him at all. As soon as the male owner of 601 opened the door, 801's big brother went up and slapped him in the face. I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of the whole building, well done. Although 801's big brother is thin and small, he is 2 meters 8 in my mind at the moment. If Dawei hadn't stopped him in time, I'm afraid 601's male owner's face would have been swollen. If you have something to say, that's okay. Dawei was obviously secretly happy in his heart, but he didn't want the big brother of 801 to get into trouble for this matter. He said that people like his uncle deserved a beating. If you make trouble in my house in the future, I will beat you. The male owner of 601 was obviously stunned. He held his face and said nothing. The deafening sound stopped abruptly. The hostess did not come out. I don't know what she was thinking. The neighbors heard the news and came to persuade and criticize, but the male owner of 601 turned a deaf ear and looked at me and Dawei coldly. There is a perpetrator for every grievance. There are 10,000 ways to retaliate against the upstairs on the internet. I will change one for you tomorrow. The onlookers all took a breath of cold air, but no one persuaded them anymore. This man has been brainwashed by his woman for many years, and he has long been desperate for neurasthenia. No one wants to mess with such a person. I got home exhausted, but I couldn't sleep at all. Dawei 601 got beaten, but still wanted to retaliate against us. Have you noticed something? Dawei has a fierce and stubborn personality. I shook my head. He is a bully who only bullies the weak and fears the strong. We are too reasonable. We can only solve this kind of people with fists. Daily, I didn't get a slap today. He was already very sorry. He felt that the jackpot was snatched away by Big Brother 801. When he heard this, he immediately rubbed his hands. I wanted to beat them up a long time ago. If you hadn't stopped me, of course I would have stopped me. You are my man and I don't want anything to happen to you. What should I do? I have to think of a way. Dawei is a carefree person. He fell asleep quickly. He even slept very well because of the tossing and turning. Bixiang, I listened to his snoring. An idea gradually took shape in my mind. The next day I put the 701 house up for sale to the agent. The agent said I listed the price too low, it could be higher. I laughed. I want to choose a buyer with whom I have a connection. What kind of connection is considered? I smiled but said nothing. The low price is indeed attractive. People came to see the house one after another. I told the agent that I like families with more children. The agent was a little confused but still did as I was told. 601 still often came to knock on the door. Persevering, I did not open the door. The police still often visited. Hey, we are old friends, we have a good chat. There was even one time I told a policeman who was complaining bitterly, you will be free soon after a while of hard work. The police were skeptical. That day the agent called me again, Sister Chin, and someone wanted to come and see the house. They had 3 children which met your requirements. But what was wrong with this person? He looked very difficult to deal with. I was happy. If he wasn't difficult, I wouldn't want him. I hurried home. When I saw him for the first time, my eyes lit up. After confirming the look in his eyes, he was the one I was looking for. They were a couple. The woman had red hair and a cigarette in her hand. She put it out when she saw me and smiled at me. The man was at least 200 pounds tall and strong, with a flat head and a big gold chain. It wasn't too hot that day. He was only wearing a black vest, with dragon tattoos on his flowery arms. The owner has gained weight and has become a fat dragon. The agent didn't understand why and smiled apologetically and tremblingly. I patted him on the shoulder and encouraged the couple with a smile. We went to see the house very quickly. The man had basically no objection. The woman took a look around and was quite satisfied. The decoration was quite new and it had been there for several years, but we maintained it well. A 3-bedroom house is suitable. I have 3 children. They make a lot of noise if I don't beat them. They climb up the roof and tear off the tiles. I'm so lucky. I only have 1 child, and it's quite deserted. The red-haired woman waved her hand and I gave birth to 1. The other 2 are his and his ex-wife's. The children are grown up, and boys and girls can't live in separate rooms. Don't you think so? Hey, if I like it, when can we move in? Right now. The woman was very happy and told Panglong that it would be settled. Panglong's cell phone rang at that moment and he nodded to the woman. Why waste your time talking to him? You are just bored. Fists are the only way. Just beat him up and don't kill anyone. The agent's face turned pale with fright. I was also scared but secretly excited. Panglong hung up the phone and immediately became polite again. My wife said it was okay. When will we sign the contract? I heard that I found such a buyer. The big scarf was so big that his chin fell off. When signing the contract, Dawei kept staring at Panglong with tattoos on his arms and complimented him on how handsome he was. I have wanted to do this since I was a child. My mother won't let me get a tattoo on my arm. I'm really going to die of laughter at his words. Tattoo on your arm, you're fine with injections. Fat Long became more polite after being praised like this, and even learned to be humble. People like me do these things. You guys are obviously cultured. No way. If you really like, I'll introduce you to a master. Tattoo your wife's name on your waist. It won't affect your work. Hey, this Fat Long brother is quite romantic. After signing the contract, Dawei pretended to be serious. We'll pack up and move out in the next few days, okay? Dawei was hesitant to speak, but brother, I have something to tell you in advance. The people downstairs from my house are more likely to make trouble. Don't pay attention to them. Fat Long brother laughed on the spot. From I'm the only one who finds trouble with others, and I haven't heard of anyone finding trouble with me. I just like people like you, big brother. The house has been sold, but I didn't quit the group. I want to stay in the group and watch the fun. I heard that 601 went upstairs again, and when he opened the door, he found a red-haired girl who was stunned for a long time. I heard that the police came again, and when they opened the door, they found a girl with a big gold chain and flower arms, and the police were stunned. I heard that on the second day after the police came, an unknown smelly substance was poured on the door of 601. On the third day after the police came, Brother Fat Dragon sat in 601's house with 8 younger brothers, saying that he wanted to listen to the noise. It is said that the 8 younger brothers had a total of 17 dragons and 5 scorpions on their bodies, and 2 of the younger brothers were more fat. The scorpion has turned into a lobster. It's good to be fat, and the appetite is big. 18 dragons and 5 scorpions sat in 601 for 48 hours, ordered 60 kilograms of lobster takeout, drank 23 boxes of beer, and didn't ask 601 to pay the bill. It was very generous. It was said that he also treated the couple of 601 to a meal. The couple didn't dare to eat and shrank in the kitchen to eat instant noodles. Later, it was heard that the neurasthenia of the couple of 601 was completely cured. When they saw the eldest brother, they could appreciate his beauty. When the eldest brother's children fought at home late at night, the couple would praise the children for being full of energy. In short, the corridor was completely harmonious. Thank you, eldest brother. I also want to treat you, brother, to eat lobster. The whole article is over.